We're also, of course, following the latest in the trial of Derek Chauvin, charged in the murder of George Floyd. This was the second day of testimony. Several witnesses described the harrowing final moments of George Floyd's life, and the court also heard 911 calls from that day.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Officer 987 killed a citizen in front of a Chicago store. He just pretty much just killed this guy that wasn't resisting arrest. He had his knee on the dude's neck the whole time. He was already in handcuffs. They pretty much just killed the dude.
That call came from that witness you saw, Donald Williams, who was later questioned by the defense about his interactions with officers on the scene.
Did you hear any of the conversation occurring between the three officers with Mr. Floyd? Yes or no?
No.
It's fair to say that as you were there, you grew angrier.
Correct.
As you were there and interacting with Officer Tao and Officer Chauvin, you grew more and more upset. Would you agree with that?
Correct.
You started calling them names. Yes?
You heard that, yeah.
You called him a tough guy.
I did.
You called him a bum at least 13 times.
That's what you counted in the video?
That's what I counted.
And that's what you got, 13. I stayed in my body. You can't pay me out to be angry.
The court also heard the 911 call of another witness, Minneapolis firefighter Genevieve Hansen, who was off duty when she came upon the scene.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Hello. I am on the block of 38th in Chicago, and I literally watched police officers not take a pulse and not do anything to save a man. And I am a first responder myself.
I offered to walk them through it or told them, if he doesn't have a pulse, you need to start compressions, and that wasn't done either.
How did that make you feel?
Totally distressed.
Were you frustrated?
Yes.
Also among the witnesses today, young people who were underage at the time, including a 9-year-old and Darnella Frazier, who's now 18. She is the one who recorded the video of Floyd's death that was seen around the world and, of course, then sparked worldwide protests. So due to their ages, the judge allowed their audio to be broadcast, but would not allow media to show their faces on camera as they testified.
I heard George Floyd saying, "I can't breathe, please get off of me. I can't breathe." He cried for his mom. He was in pain. It seemed like he knew. It seemed like he knew it was over for him. He was terrified. He was suffering. This was a cry for help.
I was sad and kind of mad. I feel like he was stopping his breathing, and it is kind of like hurting him.
It looked like he was shoving his knee in his neck.
I felt like there wasn't really anything I could do as a bystander. The highest power was there, and I felt like God was feeling it.
Darnella Frazier also described how her life changed after what she saw on May 25 of last year.
When I look at George Floyd, I look at my dad, I look at my brothers, I look at my cousins, my uncles, because they are all black. I have a black father, I have a black brother, I have black friends. And I look at that and I look at how that could have been one of them. It's been nights I stayed up apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more and not physically interacting and not saving his life. But it's like, it's not what I should have done. It's what he should have done.
This was such an emotional day. I think people watching the wall-to-wall coverage have been surprised by the urgency of it, the tension of it, the humanity of it in the face of inhumanity at the heart of this. How engaged are the jurors in your view, and were they any more engaged on particular witnesses?
Well, the jurors today looked sympathetic. Some of them recoiled in shock at some of the testimony. We know from jury selection that, again, a lot of these jurors had never watched the full video of Darnella Fraser's full video of George Floyd's death. And so a lot of these clips that they're seeing that have been presented in court the last 2 days are new to them. And so I think, they're looking at them and sort of digesting it in shock. One of the things that really struck me today is just this reminder by listening to the voices of these girls, how young they were and how this moment really is going to shape their lives forever. I mean, how can you walk down the street and see a man struggling with police officers, begging for his life, and get past that? And I think that was part of the reason that the prosecution put them on the stand today. They weren't just witnesses. They were a reminder of how this incident has changed so many lives forever.
Think about, Joyce Vance, the fact that just watching the video can affect a life change. Imagine having to witness the life draining out of a human being in front of you on that street corner. Joyce, talk about the prosecution goal in front-loading these emotional and sincere witnesses.
So the science that prosecutors operate with, Brian, is the science of primacy and recency. When jurors go into the jury room to deliberate, the pieces of evidence that they take with them the most strongly are the first thing that they heard, primacy, and the last thing that they heard, recency. And really the best witness that the prosecution has in this case is the videotapes of George Floyd's death. So they were front and center this early in the trial. We will see them, I think, throughout the trial, as many times as the judge will let the prosecution play them, but expect to see them again in closing argument so that they are the last piece of evidence that the jury takes with it when it begins its deliberations.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.